Would you change your lifestyle to save the earth, even if it meant more choices, more wealth, and more freedom? Welcome to Edenicity, best practices for sustainably abundant cities. Sustainability up till now has always meant less choices, less money, less freedom. Smaller, slower, less convenience, less technology, fewer amenities, and in some cases, fewer people. Who volunteers to be first? So the question of the day is, can sustainability give us more of anything except guilt trips? Could sustainability actually give us more choices, more money, and more freedom? Well, it's my purpose on this channel to make the case that sustainable design can do all of these things, and the design object that can deliver all of these promises is Edenicity. This is an effortlessly sustainable, multifamily, mixed-use, mixed-income, car-free, transit-oriented, energy-secure, and food-secure city. We should have a challenge, shouldn't we? Maybe Fridays for a Future people could just chant that. It kind of rolls off the tongue. So let's break that down real quick. By effortlessly sustainable, what I mean is, when you live in Edenicity, you don't have to think about sustainability. You don't have to buy organic. You don't have to worry about recycling. You don't have to worry about where energy is coming from or where anything that you buy is coming from. It's all handled. Multifamily just means that we don't have standalone houses. So this is apartments and townhouses. Mixed use means that you're close to all of the basic amenities. So if you want to go to work or school or clinics or recreational facilities, it's all basically within a very short walk away. Car-free means just what it sounds like, no cars. Transit-oriented, of course, means that for those services and experiences that are a little bit more specialized, so for example, big sports venues and universities and advanced medical research centers, those would all be easy to reach by public transit from anywhere in the city. Energy secure means that the energy needs of the city are generated on site within the city limits. And food secure means that all of the food is grown right there in the city, and that's the part that's really quite new. So the question is, how do these things give us more choices, more freedom, more wealth, etc.? Well, let's just focus on one of these items, and that would be the transit-oriented, car-free nature of Edenicity. Now, I see that somebody's about to press the comment button and say, you can't take my car away from me. I know, cars are a choice, and I just talked about a city where there are no cars, so it stands to reason that Edenicity is removing that choice, right? So that means less choices, doesn't it? Well, hear me out. It's not like this is all going to happen all at once everywhere in the world. If you want to live a car-centric lifestyle, basically you don't have to change what you're doing at all. The odds are very great that your city is not going to suddenly turn into Edenicity. But it's my hope that cities will start down this path. And at the end, I'll mention a couple that are actually doing that. Edenicity is meant to compete in a world of many cities where people have a choice of where to live. Cities are competing for businesses and employees and residents. And some people prefer transit. So Edenicity speaks to people who like transit and do not like the idea of themselves or their children dodging traffic. So how does living in Edenicity give you more choice? By making it car-free, we now free up 70% of the land area of a city for other uses. This allows cities to be developed in a lot more compact footprint, even with the food growing. And this gives you more access to all of the public amenities, such as transportation, libraries, venues of various sorts, hospitals, schools, any service you can imagine. All of that is now closer and more accessible. So you can squeeze more into a day. Now also, it should be pretty obvious that going car-free saves you a lot of money. The average cost of a car with depreciation, insurance, gas, and maintenance in the United States is $10,000 plus per year. And that $10,000 is just the direct costs to you as a consumer. There's also all sorts of hidden costs in the form of oil industry subsidies and all of the various taxes that go into road building and maintaining the vast automotive infrastructure in general, including having to run utilities over a much more sprawling footprint than would otherwise be necessary. Mass transit, on the other hand, costs about $1 a day, or for a household, less than $1,000 a year. So you're saving about $9,000 per household, in some cases $16,000 because many households are multi-car families. This is all after-tax money, dollars in your pocket. So in this sense, sustainable design, Edenicity, can give you more money. And that allows to build your wealth year after year that much faster. And finally, public transit is 17 to 20 times safer than driving a car. And just to put this into perspective, I remember hearing an interview with Jay Leno, who's an avid motorcycle rider, and he mentioned just as a toss-off comment that motorcycles were 19 times more dangerous than cars. And I remember at that moment thinking, I will never own a motorcycle because that's just too much risk. That's almost exactly the same difference in danger between cars and public transit. So knowing that, I could well imagine that given the choice, which most of us don't have in American cities these days, between good quality public transit and cars, most of us would choose the much safer option. And that safety gives you more freedom because it gives you the freedom to live and it gives you the freedom from harm. In a city without cars, imagine what freedom looks like throughout your whole life. When do you get your driver's license? Well, basically when you learn to ride a bike. You're as mobile as anybody. And I know that scares a lot of modern people. This is a topic I'll get into in a later episode. I grew up car-free in a city where transit was available and was riding buses quite young. It's not as scary as might seem, and there's a lot of upsides. Edenicity is meant to compete with other cities in a world where people have choices, and to do it in 3 ways. It's all about expanding rather than contracting your choices, and that's a really new trend in sustainability. Happily, it's a trend that many cities are already taking the lead on. For example, Paris, France, is planning to go car-free by 2024. Barcelona is putting in these giant super blocks that are also car-free, and I will be delighted to report on this channel on any other cities that are moving in that car-free direction. But this is just the beginning. I mean, this is just the first hint of what cities can become. Once all that space becomes freed up in existing cities, all kinds of new things can be done with the land. Some of those things would have to do with generating energy and growing food. And there's still plenty of room left over for all kinds of street life and all kinds of activities. The really exciting thing going forward is how this is starting to take shape and how we're really starting to see sustainability as a constructive rather than a limiting process. It's a process of creativity and invention and design, and this is the future that we've been waiting for well over a century at this point. And I hope to see you there.